Sure you want to do this, Jim?
Not really. But it's not like Pike's gonna send Frank McClory out to do it.
Besides, who cares about a couple of blind shrimp crawling around on a crack in the ocean floor? Hell, you don't even know if they're down there.
Yeah, but if they are, the expansion of the amusement park into the bay kill off the species. They may even hold the cure to cancer.
Besides, it tastes great grilled on a skewer. Why don't you bring up a couple and we'll see.
You got it, buddy.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Easy does it. How's the airflow?
They okay?
Watch those lines. We don't want them tangled.
You're telling me.
Any sign of trouble, you let me know. We're pulling you right up. How is it down there?
I feel like I'm in a beer can.
Domestic reported.
Very funny. I'm almost at the bottom. Amazing how fast you sink wearing solid steel.
Stuff yourself full of Cheetos and beer remains.
You're a regular Milton Berle tonight, buddy.
Gotta do something to keep my teeth from chattering.
It's freezing up here.
Earl,
What is it, Jim?
I'm feeling strange. Something's wrong.
I don't, it's the pressure.
Jim!
Help me!
Jim!
Earl! Fix it! Do something! Earl! Help me! Earl!
Earl! Help me!
Help me, Earl!
Oh my God! Jim!
And finally, we come to the case of David Carson, who believes his poker buddies are conspiring to cheat him in their weekly game. And as evidence, he provides us with this accounting of his recent losses, which come to $13 in this marked card. Anybody feel a strong desire to take this case? Then I declare this meeting closed.
I have something. I have a friend who has a problem, and I think Cobra might be able to help her. She works at the Ocean Quest Foundation.
A friend?
I know. It violates all my rules of personal ethics, but she's worried about sabotage at the Foundation, maybe even murder. Now, if we start turning people away simply because we happen to be personally acquainted with them, then how does that fit into our mission of helping anybody who needs it?
Oh, and you're saying this person, this would-be client, is a friend?
Yes.
Of yours?
Yes.
Dallas, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, I know where you're headed, son. You're on the right track. You know, I think this is the first time we've ever met one of Danielle's friends. And I know we've never met any of the guys Danielle dates.
You think she's ashamed of them or of us, Dallas?
Do you mind? I'm trying to be serious here now. Krista needs our help, and if the two of you can't see past the fact that she's just...
Danny, we'd be happy to help your friend.
Really?
Really. Even if we've never met her.
Or seen her.
All right, okay, fine. So I don't mix my personal and my professional life. Is there something wrong with that?
Well, yeah. You're ashamed of us.
Oh, come on, Scandal. She's not ashamed of us.
Of course not. Thank you, Dallas.
Well, now, she might be ashamed of you.
Scandal. Dallas, this is my friend, Krista LeGraley.
So, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
We shared a dorm room together in college. It was like living with Felix Unger.
Right, and Jacques Cousteau. Our room was crammed full of fish tanks.
Which your boyfriends managed to knock over crawling in and out of the window. You see, a flooded hallway full of dead fish meant that Danielle here had a hot date.
Oh.
Yes, well, enough about the past. You have a problem. We are here to help. Let's come on in, have a seat. So, Krista works for the Ocean Quest Institute at the Seven Seas of Adventure amusement park. Ocean Quest is dedicated to preserving fragile marine ecosystems.
What do roller coasters have to do with saving the whales?
2 years ago, we couldn't scrape together enough funding to keep the Institute alive. Seven Seas offered us a home and enough money to stay in operation. At first, it seemed like a dream deal.
They were barely unpacked when Seven Seas announced a massive expansion of the park into the bay.
They used you. Funding Ocean Quest made them look good. And at the same time, it compromised what would have been the loudest critic of their expansion.
Well, we didn't let that stop us. I had one of our scientists, Jim Levici, investigating whether or not the expansion would endanger any ocean life. And last week, he was killed. In some sort of freak accident.
And you think it was murder?
Oh, I know it was. I just can't prove it.
Well, I think it deserves a good look-see. What do you say, Scandal?
I'll get my swim trunks.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
So do I. Why don't I show you around the Institute?
Sounds good.
Danielle, I'll see you at the Save the Bay fundraiser on Friday on the oil platform. You bringing Raul again?
Raul?
Who's Raul?
You haven't met Raul? They've been dating for months.
For months?
Shouldn't you be going?
So, tell me all about this Raul. These guys here are my favorite.
Well, we do a lot more than make whales jump through hoops. You see, Ocean Quest is primarily a research institution.
Hi, I'm Vernon Pike. I own this little playground.
Scandal Jackson, nice to meet you.
He's the new marine biologist I hired to fill Jim's position.
Glad to have you part of our family.
It'll be his job to catalog just how many species of marine life your expansion will annihilate.
Come on now, Krista. I'm not a boogeyman. We're building an underwater dome that will introduce children to the wonders of the sea. I bet once it's finished, Krista will be the first in line. Bring the wife and kids over this weekend. My treat.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Snake.
One of these desks belong to Jim.
Oh, it's right here.
Do you know what he was working on before he died?
Well, Pike's got a dive team surveying the ocean floor. I put Jim on it to keep them honest.
Well, when Jim ran out of desk space, he was a little paranoid.
It's his dive diary from his work on the survey team. Notes about water temperature, depth, observations of sea life and vegetation.
His last dive occurred the night before his accident.
You mean his murder? But most of these notes were taken during his dives with the survey team, except for this last one. It wasn't authorized.
Who would he have been trying to hide this book from?
Well, there's Pike, of course. And Frank McClory.
McClory?
A die-hard mercenary Pike hired as chief diver on the survey team. In fact, the whole team was made up of McClory's ex-army cronies, until I put Jim on it.
Suddenly, I feel like going for a swim.
This is a restricted area, pal. It's not one of the amusement park rides.
Really? Thought the pressure suit dive was an e-ticket attraction.
You must be Jackson.
And you must be McClory.
You've got a smart mouth for a guy who's only been here for an hour.
Imagine how smart it'll be tomorrow, Frank.
I'm the dive boss, and this is my boat. And I don't particularly like the idea of having a shaggy-ass biologist looking over my shoulder. So watch your mouth, or you'll be gumming your regulator. Now, do we understand each other?
I'm glad to meet you too, Frank. Excuse me, but I'm gonna go for a swim.
He's taking Jim Levici's scuba gear.
How appropriate.
My dad always said never jump with your eyes closed and never dive unless you know how deep the water is. Well, my eyes were wide open, but I had a feeling I was getting in deeper than I knew. The ocean depths can be a sanctuary, safe from humanity. To be here is to be utterly alone. But sometimes alone and out of sight can be the worst place to be. Jim Levici found that out the hard way. And I didn't want to make the same fatal discovery.
Why does it feel like I'm watching a rerun?
Because we never got around to removing the tracking device from Levici's tanks.
Just like Jimbo, Jackson has found the wreck. And just like Jim, he's going to meet the same fate.
Registered to a dentist, Dr. Jason Burge of Bay City. He and his wife Margaret went sailing 6 weeks ago and they never came back. They were presumed lost at sea.
Well, the boat was strafed with gunfire and deliberately sunk.
This was a hit. Whoever this guy is, he had some big-time enemies.
I'll do some digging.
Check out Frank McClurry, too.
You got a hunch.
Even better. I found this casing on McClurry's boat and dug the bullet out of the Morning Rose.
We'll check it out, but I don't need a microscope to tell you both these came from an automatic weapon.
Could be McClurry's just an impatient fisherman, but I hate coincidences.
Where you going?
Fishing.
Me too.
Well, good luck.
Cozy place you got here.
Sharks are magnificent creatures, aren't they? That's the jaw of an 18-foot great white. Killed it myself. Pure predatory instinct, all gleaming teeth and no brains.
Sounds like the guy who sold me my car.
Tell me something, Mr. Jackson. What is this? Carcharodon, Carcerius, or Yasurus?
Heck if I know. The only shark I can identify has 3 aces up his sleeve.
That's an interesting admission for a marine biologist.
Guess I skipped class that day.
What exactly do you want, Mr. Jackson?
Same thing you want. As much of Pike's money as I can get.
But you already have a job with Miss LeGreley.
Everyone can use a night job, right?
How can I trust you when you're selling out your current employer?
Pay me more than she does.
I could do that. Or I could feed you to the sharks and have you out of my way.
Well, you could, but you won't. Now, won't you check my references?
Bridges, come in here. Get Mr. Jackson's fingerprints off here and have Pike run them. We either have a new member of the dive team or dinner for the Great White.
Found these hidden in Pike's office. They're not labeled, but they look like the plans for the underwater construction.
Why would Pike hide blueprints?
You see these circled areas? Judging from the notation, they look like stress points.
Well, I've got a friend on the planning commission who might like a look at these. I don't know when Jason's getting back from his vacation, but he'll know what it means.
You don't mean Jason Burge, do you?
What's happened to Jason?
Scandal found his boat at the bottom of the bay riddled with bullets.
Scandal found a shell casing on McClory's boat, but I just got the lab report. They couldn't come up with a match. How did you know Jason Burge?
Jason was one of our best fighters in the war against the expansion. He even got Zarkon oil on our side.
And oil drilling is better for marine life than an amusement park?
As Jason said, one enemy at a time.
We have to find a way to get inside their operation.
Well, Scandal's working on it. I just hope he knows what he's doing.
Why? Is there a problem?
Well, my sources at the Pentagon tell me somebody's been snooping into Scandal's past.
Lieutenant Robert Scandal Jackson, Jr. You got all this from a fingerprint? Navy SEAL? Decorated for valor? What does he want with us?
Stop wondering.
The SEAL went AWOL. Interesting collection of acronyms here.
I got one more for you. R.I.P.
Deceased. Mr. Jackson is getting more interesting all the time.
McClory, what the hell are you doing?
We're talking about Jackson, the new man Krista LeGreley hired.
I don't pay you to talk. I pay you to take action. Because while you two have been jawing, somebody's been snooping in my office.
I'll find him.
And when you do, make sure no one else ever can.
Yes, sir. Mr. Pike.
McClory was a careful man, and I knew he wouldn't believe anything about me that he didn't find out himself, which was why I left my fingerprints. I knew the story they'd tell would get him interested, maybe interested enough to put me on his team. Danielle discovered that McClure was drummed out of the military for disobeying orders and using excessive force. You don't hire a man like that to draw maps of the ocean floor. You hire him to kill. And he wouldn't trust me unless he thought I was as bad as he was.
It's 10:30. I've been waiting for you.
Didn't know I had to punch a time clock.
You do now, mister. When you're on my team, your time is my time. Got it?
Is this your friendly way of saying I got the job?
It's not yours yet. First, I need to know if you crack under pressure.
What do you have in mind?
Comfy?
Oh, yeah.
Just give me a Walkman and a couple of Garth Brooks tapes, and I'll be tickled pink.
Then you won't mind a few questions.
Sure, about what?
You? According to Navy records, you're dead. I don't get the right answers. You will be. First, the eardrums burst, and then the eyes begin to bleed. A little more pressure. Skull, cracked like an egg. Now, who are you?
I'm Scandal Jackson.
Scandal Jackson is dead.
I went AWOL.
Fake my death so they stop looking.
What were you doing at the wreck of the Morning Rose?
Lavici left a dive guy on it. I was curious.
Why should I believe you?
Come on.
I'll tell you the truth.
I got everything to lose. Turn me in or I go to jail. Oh.
You got a point, Jackson. I like to know my people have as much on the line as I do. Welcome aboard.
You got a funny way of conducting a job interview, you know that?
The fun is just beginning. Jackson, your first assignment is down on the Morning Rose. Now, I think that wreck is a hazard to divers.
Just ask Jim Lavici.
I want you to get rid of it.
No problem.
Keep an eye on Krista. I want to know every move she makes.
I knew if I wanted to infiltrate McClurry's inner circle, I would have to take some chances. If it meant blowing up the Morning Rose, so be it. Jason Burge was dead already. Leaving his boat in its watery grave wouldn't bring him back. But destroying it would get me on McClurry's team, which was the only way I could find out what was really going on before anyone else got killed. Then again, I knew McClurry might be on to me already and that he'd be using me to cover his tracks. Either way, it was a chance I had to take.
You just blew up the only evidence we have.
Krista, this is not the time or the place to discuss this, okay?
You're supposed to prove them guilty, not help them cover up their crimes.
I didn't want to blow my cover, which you are risking right now. The important thing is I'm now part of McClurry's inner circle. With some luck, we'll get some solid evidence.
Or at least find their next target before someone else gets killed.
That should be easy. It's you. You two are going for a ride. Take them away. When I said you two were going on a ride, I was wrong.
Oh, yeah? Well, how's that?
The ride is actually going on you.
You should see the press release. 2 park employees were killed in a tragic roller coaster accident.
We grieve for our colleagues.
How many people have to die?
I don't know. I haven't seen the guest list yet.
The fundraiser.
You're gonna blow up the oil rig tomorrow morning.
After the rig explodes, the expansion of the park will be embraced as a welcome improvement of an aquatic wasteland.
Back up. Put your head down.
Do you have it?
okay?
Yeah.
Huh?
How did you know the cars would pass safely over us and cut our chains?
I guessed.
Well, what's our plan?
Notify the Coast Guard, the oil company, and as many of the guests as you can.
What about the oil rig? It's almost dawn. If McClory blows it up, we'll have a major ecological disaster on our hands.
Just do what I said, okay? Here. My dad worked as a cop for 20 years and never complained about the stress. Once I asked him how he dealt with it, he just pointed at the ocean and smiled. It wasn't until I learned to dive that I understood what he meant. Under the sea, all the evils of man's world seem to slip away. There's nothing down there but quiet and beauty. It's easy to lose touch with yourself amidst the distractions and responsibilities of daily life. But under the sea, you are alone. Here you can connect with yourself, away from the influence of others. It's the one place I've found where my soul feels completely free. The undersea world is the last pure, unspoiled place left on Earth. And while there are people who would destroy this sacred place for money and power, as long as others like Krista LaGraley are willing to fight them, this sanctuary will be there for all of us.